Hey guys, and welcome to Criminality, the podcast where we know loving reality TV and podcast by former reality stars, i.e. Tori Spelling, is not a crime. Rebecca, how are you?
I'm not convinced it's not a crime. I think we should be arrested. But I'm great. We have so much to talk about.
We do. Do you want to kick it off with Correction Corner, which you told me you've got some corrections to be making?
Yeah, it's been a while since we've made a mistake, or at least since we've been notified of a mistake. There is a difference there, and I understand it. So I am the one who brought this mistake to my attention because I am so embarrassed, Melissa, because I thought I taught you something. You who always has your finger on the younger millennial pulse. Mm-hmm. Between the two of us, you do.
Okay.
I told you that shipping someone means combining their names. That is not true.
My gosh.
It's not true.
Thank you for just the justice in this.
Yeah, no, it's yours, and I humble myself to give it to you. I was watching something. I think it was Watch What Happens Live, and Andy's guest was like, yeah, I ship them. And I'm like, oh, Melissa's right. It's just liking two people as a couple. It has nothing to do with merging their names. Where did I get this stupid idea?
I don't know. You're like, no.
I stand by Sea West, but
fine.
It's not shipping them.
Oh, yeah. I was very confused because I also know that, I'll just kind of come up with stuff in my head and just go with it. But I was pretty sure because I thought it was such a dumb thing. I didn't understand what it meant. I still don't understand.
You were so gracious in just taking it as a loss and being like, okay, Rebecca, if you say so. I was so convinced. I mean, I think I convinced you because I was like, no, it's the combination of two names to create a relationship name. That is shipping.
Right.
It should be.
In general, I feel like I'm competitive in life, but in stuff like that, I'm so quick to just say I'm wrong. Unless it doesn't matter. If it this mattered, but if it truly did not matter,
high stakes.
Yeah, then I will fight for it. But yeah, this was high stakes.
Anyway,
I was letting you have it. Congratulations.
I really thank you. I just felt like it was important to be honest.
Thank you.
And also, I'm shocked no one called me out. Thanks for sparing my feelings. People are probably like, she's too fragile. Let's just let her live in her delusion. So that was my correction corner.
Thank you. I loved it.
So opposite of breaking news.
Okay.
Let's go back almost a year. Last June, I did an episode, maybe July, last summer, about a woman on Married to Medicine named Lisa Nicole Cloud. Mm-hmm. And as part of my research, I had reached out to her on Instagram to get some juice on the MLM, and she never responded. It wasn't even seen.
Okay.
That is until I just saw the other day, and it had been sitting there since February.
Oh.
Lisa Nicole responded, and I would like to read her message.
I'm terrified.
It's relax.
Okay.
You can put your shoulders down. You're okay.
I'm having a crisis.
Well, let me go back and read what I wrote
I'd like to
her.
Be reminded.
And now I'm reading it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I wrote that. Okay. I was just about to join 5 Links.
So why? Right off the bat.
But I see it's now called Epic. Do you still endorse them? Would you recommend it as a biz opportunity?
How did you spell biz? B-I-Z?
B-I-Z. Oh. B-I-Z. Absolutely B-I-Z. I had to,
You had to.
be believable.
Yeah.
So about 8 or 9 months later, she wrote, no, that company has run its course, IS. I left last year and have been working NVU. It's amazing and exploding. Can I invite you to learn more? Period. No question mark. We are the health and wealth company, period.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't respond.
Please.
Also, she sent it at 2:50 a.m.
Lisa Nicole has things going on. And
what should I say? Do you want me to respond in real time?
Absolutely.
What should I write her?
Okay, so my daughter and my favorite thing is if either of us get a scam text, we just help each other.
Start engaging.
It's so fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
Let's say, how about you write Slay Girl, ! Is this your personal Instagram?
Yep.
Oh gosh. This is why
I don't have a Finsta
burner account.
And I wasn't going to use Criminality. I didn't want her to see the episode.
We also have an episode about you.
I love Slay Girl. Yes, I would like to learn more about health and wealth.
Yeah, I'm all about health and wealth. 2024 is the year of health and wealth. Yeah.
To learn more, 2024. is all about. Okay. Scent.
Oh my
I'm going to put a green heart. That feels right. Okay. So we'll send that and we'll see if there's any updates, tonight
Stay
or in the
tuned
coming
next year.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Watch this space. Just don't hold your breath.
Oh gosh, don't. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that was my update, my correction.
Love it. Well, speaking of updates and corrections, actually, it's neither. But let's see, Rebecca. This week, have you been under Tori's spell? Would you say? Have you found yourself under her spell?
Yes. Less than previous
Same.
weeks and episodes. Like if under her spell, if we could equate it to like anesthesia.
Sure.
This was like
Twilight?
melatonin.
Oh.
Oh no, it's like a couple melatonin.
Okay, got it.
Whereas initially it was like a Twilight, like semi-conscious.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was.
Yeah. So Tori always mixing it up for us. Our girls, you never know what to expect. So of course we get 2 episodes with Shannon Doherty, which makes sense. Shannon is a longtime friend. No announcement this was going to happen at all.
No.
And just
starts.
Just
in
go.
there.
Oh yeah, and it just starts. And then also with country superstar Sarah Evans, who by the end of the episode I realized, oh, they're both with iHeart. Now it makes sense why this ever happened.
Yeah.
But Becca, I'd love to know what it is you learned under Tori's spell this week.
Okay, this one was a little harder because there were like other people involved, which
Yeah.
really detracts from learning about Tori. But if you listen hard enough, you can learn about her through what she says to the
Absolutely.
I learned that Brian Austin Green, she considers him the love of her life, like the capital L.
Yes. And I'd like to piggyback on that and say I learned that she
Beautiful.
once tried to tell Brian Austin Green, hey, did you know you're the love of my life? And he kind of looked at her and then she was like, JK, and just moved on. And why would I do that? That's what I learned.
Yeah.
Ugh. It was dark. It was so dark.
I mean, you're talking about 2 50-year-old people. I mean, because that was recent, right?
It
She
was
did
like
that
last
recently.
week,
I know.
according to her.
At like a convention for like 90s stars. Like the whole thing couldn't be less of a meet cute. It's like a horror reunion. It's
Yeah.
like just
Run.
a nightmare.
Run ugly. I don't know what the opposite would be.
Yeah.
It was hard to hear, and I think Shannon suffered in that as well. I think it was hard for her.
She didn't know what to say either.
No.
Yeah. Okay, so this is kind of about her life more than her specifically, but I learned from her that Dean, her soon-to-be ex-husband, they're separated, already has a new girlfriend that he lives with.
And I'll add on that, she really likes her.
And she's met the kids. Like,
Yeah.
she's in there.
She's in there. She's also under Tori's spell against her better judgment. Come on, girl. Come on.
I want to listen to her podcast.
Same.
Oh.
So I also learned that Tori and Sarah Evans, unfortunately, may be twin flames. Yeah.
100%. It's like you're my mirror. The subtext between them, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it was literally everything. And I kind of just think that might be a Tori thing. When you say something, she's like, oh, girl, me too. Can you believe I did that? Blah, blah, blah. And she like kind of whispers off and she's like, is that weird? And stuff. But like, she is a mirror of other people. Is that right?
yeah, she chameleons a little bit. I do that too, though. And
I mean, we all do to a degree.
But I think they're cut from a similar cloth. I don't know how much Sarah was mirroring as much. Well, no, they were mirroring in that they really are like reflecting one another.
True.
I don't think she was chameleoning. I think it was weird.
It was a lot of, if you know the story of Sarah Evans, which we might end up sharing on this podcast at some point.
Yeah.
It
sounds interesting.
Gets dark, and the darkness has been kind of forgotten about now, and it's just light and everything's good, and don't worry. And Tori is that person to be like, this is my soulmate. Well, she did that with Dean for 18 years.
Right. When I was listening to Sarah Evans, I know what she looks like, but when I was listening to her, she was reminding me of someone, and do you know who it is? It's Elizabeth Vargas, the housewife. That similar speaking voice and also mannerism of like laughing at like really weird things.
Very.
And like, she doesn't sound over some stuff, but she talks about it very casually in that way that Tori does too.
Right.
It was a lot. I'm looking forward to hopefully the next episode where it's just her again.
I'm going to add a little what I learned from Sarah. And what I'd like to add there is that she said she and her husband never fight. They only fight in therapy. So if they have something to discuss, it's only
They save
in
it.
therapy. Mm-hmm. Is it healthy? Who am I to judge? But
Well, if you're
No.
Tori, it's genius,
It's
according to her.
genius.
It's. I was like, there'd be a lot of silence in my house.
right? Like we will not be
not that-
speaking.
Yeah, just there's no disagreements, there's no conflict resolution. It's just no,
Save it.
like
Literally
but Wednesday
save
at
it.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Well, for my last learning, discovery
Yes.
is that she's menopausal. She talks about that. a
She
lot.
does. To
Which I think
be fair. Go ahead.
Yes. I was going to say, which I think is really good, actually, because I think for a long time people didn't talk about
Right.
being menopausal and nobody knows what it is. It's like when you get your period and nobody told you.
Right.
It's like when you have a baby and nobody
Yeah.
told you what it actually
When
really
you come home in
means.
those underwear, you feel betrayed.
Exactly. Like where were the women before me
Right.
and why do they hate me so much? No, so in that sense, I do like the more easygoing kind of feeling around menopause right now, but she talks about it a lot.
Yeah. To be fair, I am perimenopausal and I will not go a day without mentioning it because hot flashes, everything else. You're going to
Yeah,
know
it's a
why I'm a
lot.
little bee.
I'm all for you and anyone who needs to talk about it, talking about it. I don't think I'm there yet, which is so weird because I'm significantly
Eye
older than
roll.
you. But maybe when it happens to me, we know I'll be needing to talk about it.
Well, this has been another segment of Under Tori's Spell. Thank you all for joining. We're not done. So, Rebecca, if you are ready to move on from Tori, which we know Dean is.
Reluctantly. Oh, burn.
JK, I wanted to get into the episode this week. My clues this week are Buddy Holly, teeth, and motorcycles. Any ideas?
I mean, no, my only idea was Weezer. It's not about Weezer. I have no idea.
I'm so glad. I'm just so glad, Rebecca.
Just here for the ride.
So I'll help you out on this one. Today I want to tell you a story about a man named Gary Busey. And yeah, and while you may start this story feeling like Gary, Gary, is genuine, affable, radiant, youthful, I'm afraid that by the end you'll think Gary, Gary, is generally annoying, really yucky. So let's talk about the two sides of one Mr. Gary Busey. Rebecca, your mouth is agape.
I didn't see this coming.
Yeah?
I'm trying to put him in a reality TV space and it's not coming to me.
Oh, girl.
Big Brother?
Girl.
Is it Big Brother? No.
It's beyond Big Brother. It's everything. There was like a 10-year period where he was in everything. And when we get to one, I know you'll
What?
remember it because
Okay.
it's traumatic.
What?
What are your feelings?
Survivor?
No, not Survivor, actually. Rebecca, when I get to this list, it's really going to blow your mind. What are your feelings on Gary Busey right off the bat?
Honestly, I don't have strong feelings about
Okay.
him. Very memorable face. I feel like he's like an iconic character actor.
Uh-huh.
I mean, his career is vast. I don't like, oh, I love him or his movies or I don't
Yeah.
love him. I don't have either of those things.
And have you seen interviews with him at any point in time? Like, have you just seen him
Yeah.
loosey-goosey talking?
Is he a little like wacky?
Oh, Rebecca, this is going to be so much fun. I'm so excited.
Oh, did he play Buddy Holly?
He played Buddy
I bet.
Holly. Yep.
Yes, yes. Okay.
So
It's all coming together.
Gary Busey, whose nickname was Barry Goosey, was born in Goose Creek, Texas in 1944.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's actually 80 this year.
Wow. Okay.
So his mom stayed at home to take care of the family, and his dad was a construction design manager. So although I just mentioned he was born in Texas, he actually grew up in Oklahoma, and he was a star football player. this might just be me. Do you ever think like if I grew up in that time, I could have been a star? Like I'll sometimes think like there was like 8 movie stars and I'm like, I could have done it. Like, and I don't have a good voice, but I'll be like, I could have probably been a singer if like the amount of people was so much smaller.
Right. No, I have never had
Really?
that thought, but now that you say it, I'm like 100%.
I have zero confidence in my skills right now, but 100 years ago, girl,
Yeah.
I would have ruled the world. That's got to be some kind of...
You would have been a triple threat.
Yeah. In fact, he did so well with football, he actually received a scholarship to play at Coffeyville Junior College in Kansas. And so that's where he was off to.
Sounds cute.
Yeah. He was off to play there, but he quickly gets a knee injury, which really put all of his football aspirations to the side. So he transfers to Oklahoma State University, where he studies theater and realizes his dream of the theater. But beyond his talent as an actor, Rebecca, he had a huge passion for music. He was actually a very talented drummer, and he played for different bands that included those of Chris Christopherson and Mr. Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
Maybe you've heard of them. And while he just had one credit left until graduation, he decided to leave college, move to Los Angeles to pursue his dreams with his band, the Rubber Bands, in 1966. Heard of them?
No.
Me neither. So over the course of his lifetime, Gary's been married 3 times and he has 3 kids. One of his kids is an actor whose name you might not have known, Jake Busey, but his face you would know. He's very recognizable. He's been in things like Twister, Contact, Stranger Things, Charmed. He's been in everything.
Okay, I've seen all these things.
Yeah, when you see him, you're like, oh, and then you're also like, oh, he does look like Gary Busey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary's most recent marriage is to a woman by the name of Stephanie Busey. They've been married for a number of years now, and they have a young son together. Younger, I think like 10. Yeah.
Wait, like now, like 10 right now?
Yeah, I mean, he might be a little
Like-
older. He's under 20. I can tell you that for sure. I didn't do the math.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. He's like in the De Niro daddy club.
Zaddy Club. No, don't call it that. And while Gary did move to LA for the chance to become a musician, he quickly found moderate success as an actor. His first role was in 1971, where he played a biker in a movie called Angels Hard as They Come. I don't know what that means.
Whoa.
I don't want to know. So he continues on into other smaller films, but his big break comes in 1978 when he plays a role that leads to an Academy Award nomination.
Wow.
So as Rebecca was mentioning before, he actually starred in the movie The Buddy Holly Story, and he played Buddy Holly. So Rebecca, I want to show you a clip from this movie. His acting was really incredible in this, but even more impressive was that he sang and played guitar live.
Wow.
There were no overdubs, anything.
Wow.
This is all him. So after his huge success in the Buddy Holly Story, Gary Busey, I have to say both names together, sorry. Gary Busey continued to work. But of course, he never found the same amount of success as he did. I mean, once you are nominated for an Academy Award, where else are you going to go?
Well, it goes one of two ways, right? You just keep doing better
Right.
and better movies and like the list grows of your nominations, or you kind of don't.
Which I guess we could say that for most things in life, right? Either it gets better or it gets worse.
That's true. That's true. Wow,
No,
Rebecca,
no.
thank you for that profound
It was
insight.
insightful, I'll be honest. So after he plays Buddy Holly, he gets in a bunch of B-list or I would say D-list movies, like the 1984 football coach biopic called The Bear.
Oh, isn't that like a cult classic?
Oh, do you know about this?
I personally have not seen it. I feel like it feels like one of those movies that has like a cult following.
Yeah.
It's very niche, but I think that was like beloved.
Yeah. Okay. Well, to me, I was like, never heard of it, but I mentioned something
Yeah.
to my son's therapist about like this weird fun fact, and she had heard of the movie, and I was like, what rock have I been
Okay,
living
so-
under? So you're right.
And if I'd heard of it, I don't know.
If she's heard of it too, because like she doesn't
Yeah.
know half the stuff I do in pop culture.
Yes. Well, you were barely born.
Yeah, I was a baby. So in this movie, I don't know what else happened in this movie, but he actually wrestles a live bear. They apparently coat Mr. Gary Busey with like animal fat, and the bear went ham, all pun intended.
Yeah, I know about this scene.
Do you?
This is like a legendary Hollywood scene.
How
People
is this a
talk
block
about
for
it.
me? That's wild.
I don't know. And do you know why I know about it? Because a lot of actors bring this up on Armchair Expert.
Okay.
Like they talk about this bear trainer and Gary Busey. I think, unless it's a different bear movie with a different actor.
No, it's got to be this. It's got to be this.
Because who would be crazy enough to actually
It was
act
just
with
Gary
the real
Busey.
bear?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was just him.
Okay.
So would you like to
Wow.
guess what happened to Gary during this
no.
fight with the bear?
Well, he didn't die.
He didn't die.
Did he lose something?
No.
A digit?
He found out that he was allergic to bear saliva.
Stop it.
That's a real thing, apparently.
What?
So he avoids bears.
Well, I mean,
Don't we all? But Gary didn't, actually.
he's like, so I just don't French kiss them. Like,
I was like, what a bizarre thing to find out.
what? I have so many questions about that, but go on.
I know. The more you think about it, the worse it is. So we should just keep
for
going.
sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So after Bear, Gary does have some more success starring opposite Mel Gibson and Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon. He's also in Under
yeah.
Siege. Yeah. Point Break, and like 100 movies you've never heard of. Like, this is my personal favorite. Livers Ain't Cheap.
Ew.
I mean,
Depends on which market you sell them.
I know. And the other one is The Ginger Dead Man, which I don't know why I really... Ginger
Play
bread,
on the ginger
dead.
man.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
And as for like his personal life, in the 80s, Gary was a strong opponent of California's mandatory helmet law that requires someone to wear a helmet while operating a motorcycle.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Unfortunately, his life changed in a moment due to this strong stance.
Oh no.
And we'll get into what happened to Gary after a quick break to hear a word from this week's sponsors. So in 1988, Gary's out riding his motorcycle when his bike fishtails.
Yeah.
Like
they
it'll
do.
happen, yeah. And so he brakes, flies over the handlebars, slams headfirst into the curb, where of course he wasn't
my
wearing his
gosh.
helmet.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, he was completely lucky to be alive. So Gary undergoes brain surgery to remove 2 blood clots, and he spends over 2 months in the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. He says during this time he had a near-death experience, which he did.
Very near.
But he likes to talk about it in this... It's only a way that Gary could explain what happened to him. So not just near-death experience, but like what he says happened to him during this near-death experience. Yeah. So I'm going to quote Gary. Try to keep up. It's kind of long, but it's necessary.
Okay.
I was surrounded by angels, balls of light floating all around me, and I felt trust, love, protection, and happiness like you cannot feel on earth. It's a feeling that angels live in. 3 angels came up to me, and I was this long, that wide. I was 1/4 of an inch wide and 1 foot long. That's your soul, and your soul is housed in the column of your spine. And 3 balls of light came up to me and talked to me. The one on the left talked to me in an androgynous voice and said the direction I was going in was good, but because of my responsibility to mankind, I had to look for helping spirits around. Continues. Then a light says, you may come to us now or return to your body and continue your destiny. And every time he spoke, I felt so loved, like a little baby in the arms of his brother, which I was expecting that to be mother. So when you hear the truth over there, you do it. And the word truth stands for taking real understanding to heart. That is the truth of your essence and your soul. The truth he told me was I wasn't finished over here on earth. When you feel the truth, boom, you go for it. The truth is the strongest ordinance you have in your body, your mind, your soul, and your being. Yee! With 7 E's.
Okay. I was tracking
Yeah.
until the measurements.
1/4 inch.
He lost me at the size of his soul.
I mean,
And I was thinking to myself, this is going to get awkward because we're going to end. And I'm going to say, I think that's really beautiful. And I think people see things like that when they almost
Sure.
die. And Melissa's going to.
no, I
woo-woo.
very much
Okay.
believe that. No.
But he lost me. He lost me
In your
And then you
spinal
lost me
column
more.
soul.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. And the truth acronym feels like he's leading up to cult leadership.
Oh, let's keep going. So even after this, Gary sometimes rides his motorcycle without a helmet.
You've got to be kidding me.
He does
Okay.
eventually become an advocate.
all I need to know.
Yeah, for the National Head Injury Foundation, and he begins to support helmet laws. And I watched this sketch. Elizabeth helped me again because she's a miracle worker and helped with research. So I got to watch a lot of cool videos. One of them was an old SNL skit where Phil Hartman, do you know this?
It's ringing a bell. Yes.
You know so much more about
Phil
him than you
Hartman
realize.
would be a great
I
Gary
love
Busey.
Phil Hartman. Yeah. So he plays Gary Busey. And he's talking about helmets like a PSA, and the helmet just keeps getting bigger and bigger as it goes on. It's very classic SNL. It was so good. But I guess it was a play off of a PSA he was doing.
Yeah.
Which,
Wow.
good, Gary. So living on the wild side was not limited to Gary's helmets, though, or lack thereof. He's always been very vocal about having a former cocaine addiction, as well as the recovery that came with it. So in May of 1995, Gary almost loses his life again after a near fatal overdose of cocaine and GHB. Yeah.
Whoa.
So his fiance finds him, calls 911, and tells them he's overdosed and he's unconscious. He survives, but less than a week later, prosecutors file several felony drug charges. They were like having cocaine, loving cocaine. Like the charges were crazy. Licking cocaine. I don't know what you do with this stuff. But
Roofing yourself.
basically, there was some quote where he was on Dr. Phil and talked about spilling cocaine on his dog and how he sniffed, like he was like no drug left undone, and like snorted all of it and got like fleas in his nose. That's Gary Busey.
That's criminal.
Yeah.
Like, that is so wrong. That's like Jessica on Love is Blind giving her dog wine. Same.
That poor girl.
Same.
Will never. Well, that's who she is.
That is who she is.
Yes. So he's able to have these charges dropped, and if he enters a rehab facility, so he does that and decides he's never using cocaine again, and he stood to that.
Good.
I did add this one cocaine story. He loves to tell these kind of stories, and one of them where he was on cocaine and he claimed the devil himself came to his door dressed as I'll give you three options. Was he dressed as a vampire, dressed as an angel, or dressed as a rodeo clown?
Just given his last experience, the angel.
Rodeo clown.
I knew it.
An angel would have made sense. And he said this rodeo clown offered him cocaine, which had his initials carved into it. I don't even know how that happens. I thought it was a powder. I really learned so much.
I've never done cocaine. I never will. But I lament sometimes that I don't have any stories about it, because the people I hear that tell stories about it they're great stories. Like, that's a great story. A rodeo clown?
Honestly, if you want, you could probably take that from him.
Cocaine?
Yeah, a monogram cocaine.
Like, if I were going to do it, it would need to be monogram.
Yeah. Keep it classy, Rebecca. Keep it classy.
Yeah.
And so while we actually kicked off the show with a Busey-ism, Rebecca, I don't know if you even noticed that. My Gary, Gary, I gave you two Gary acronyms. Those are Busey-isms.
Yes, you did.
Were you very confused
you.
on why I chose those very specific words?
I was like, no, she's just shaking it up. And just, I don't know. I was just excited to witness this.
There you go. Well, I'm still shaking it up. And I want to tell you how Busey-isms became a thing. So back when Gary was in the hospital recovering from his brain injury, he would wander room to room, other people's rooms, go through their sock and underwear drawer, straighten him up. And apparently his wife at the time was like, look, I know this is weird, but she says to the doctor, give him a lab coat and tell him he's preparing for a role as a doctor. And the doctor agrees.
What?
Mm-hmm. So Gary follows the doctor for all of his rounds. He goes and organizes the patient's underwear and sock drawers.
Because that's what the attending physician should be doing.
I mean, if yours isn't, that's unfortunate. I do like that as a doctor, he was like, this is not a nurse's job. This is a doctor's job. And really, took the lead and was like, no nurse of mine is going to organize these underwear and socks.
I like the wife getting creative with his recovery and is like, I have an idea. Let's give him a job.
She's like, do not send him home. We're going to make this work. I need another month.
100%.
So after tidying up this one drawer, apparently that was very messy, Gary just says to this patient, neat, nice, exciting, and tight. And this was his first Busey-ism.
Wow.
Personally, I call this HIPAA, whatever his acronym is for HIPAA. That is a HIPAA problem that he's in everybody's room.
Absolutely. Against the law. This could be pre-HIPAA, though.
It is.
Which might be how he got away with it.
But I was like, my gosh, man.
Was he famous then? Like, are people like Gary Busey is rummaging through my belongings?
Yeah,
or were
he's Buddy
or
Holly
this
at this
doctor
point.
who looks like a Gary Busey? Okay, so they knew. Okay,
Yes.
so weird, so funny.
So I guess maybe even the doctor was like, let's tell patients this, because why else is this man going through their rooms?
And this has to be LA. Like, there's no
For sure.
other town that this could.
For sure.
They could get away with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Gary really is a wealth of Busey-isms. So much so that in 2018, he even published an autobiography called Busey-isms.
No.
Gary Busey's Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth.
Wait.
Basic Instructions, B-I, before, B, leaving, L-E, Earth.
Oh, okay. Bible. But when you started, I thought the book was called Busey-isms. And then you went to the I, and I was like, wait. No. I just thought maybe he did something wild.
Oh,
like that.
no.
Okay.
Busey-isms, Gary Busey's basic. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's hard because you're not seeing these words. Like, to me, I can follow it.
Yeah,
To hear it is
yeah.
a little different. So my apologies, listeners.
He was really committed to this.
He was. And Rebecca, as I said before, you were like, Survivor, Big Brother, what was he
Yes.
on?
Tell me.
As I mentioned, he's been on several. And I have one that I didn't know even existed. This is actually the first one he was on. And I also need to know if anyone watched this, because tell me everything. But Rebecca, I'd like to play a clip for you before I actually let you know the name of this show.
All right, Gary, I gotta go, because, What the?
You're not very good at solving mysteries, are you?
Welcome to the future!
Whoa!
Imagination time.
You're capable of
Anything,
Right,
at any time,
right.
anywhere.
any place. This is a good mystery. No. Well, just stand there.
What are you, a vampire with a day pass?
Okay. What in the world was that? No, actually.
That was a bunch of clips from this reality show called I'm with Busey.
Never
Never
ever
heard of it, right? So it
Tell me
aired on
more.
Comedy Central, which is also surprising to me back in 2003 that I didn't know about
Whoa.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. How'd that? Yeah.
Got away from me.
How'd that get by you?
Yeah. It was the creation of the self-described biggest Busey fan, Adam De La Pina. So that's the other guy you see in that video who's...
Which at first glance, I actually thought was Adam Sandler, but
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
watching
yeah.
it on my phone and it was very small.
Yeah.
Okay.
The idea of this show is that Adam follows Gary around while Gary teaches him life lessons. Gary Busey teaches you life lessons. I don't-
let that sink in.
I know. Let him do your underwear and sock drawer. He's got that covered. As you can imagine, these are weird. All very unhelpful things he does. Like,
Yeah.
Adam says he's scared of driving. What would you do for someone to get over their fear of driving?
Practice more, be a passenger,
Sure.
and then get instructions on.
So not a demolition derby. That's not on the list. And
wait, I forgot.
that was the other option.
Yeah.
In another episode, they explore different mysteries like UFOs and Bigfoots. And
Oh my gosh.
Mr. Gary Busey decides to sniff a man at an airport restaurant to see whether or not he was an alien.
Oh Lord.
I don't have the answer. Might have been an alien. Who knows? Maybe they didn't want us to know.
What a weirdo.
I know. Now, Rebecca, I would say that this next thing is my first real memory of like oh, this is Gary Busey. And that's when he joined season 2 of Celebrity Rehab.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Do you happen to remember him being on there? Want me to give you some other
I feel like if I
people on
watch
there?
it, I'm going to remember it. I'm going to watch it and it's going to come right back to me. Who else was in his season?
Stephen Adler from Guns N' Roses, the actor Jeff Conaway, Rodney King, the actress and model Tawny Katan.
Actually, I don't think I saw this one.
Yeah, this one was...
Wow, what a mashup.
I know. The Rodney King storyline was so heartbreaking because it was going through he had an issue with alcoholism, and then he later dies.
Of course.
Almost everyone died from that cast, by the way. I didn't even...
That's
whatever.
So sad.
Oh, and Criminality's first douchebag, I believe, Sean Stewart, was on that season.
Oh, no way.
Our OGDB.
Speaking of
exactly.
busey-isms.
So if you're like, hey, Melissa, I thought Gary was sober at this point. What is he doing there?
Oh, gosh. I forgot that.
Yeah. Well, that's a good question.
Pain pills?
No. Listen to this quick clip to hear Gary's confusion as well. And let me know what you think is going on from this clip.
But Sasha will take an exam room. Let's go do it.
One thing I would like to have, I need my cell phone though. I need to call my mother. She's got bronchitis. And
Remember the phone, we have policies over here. We have to follow everyone.
I know, but I'm not a patient. I'm not the addicted person. I'm not going to be misusing it. And no one will know I have it.
You can have access to it, provided it's not interrupting group and there's specific justification for it and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll all do that. We'll all do the same thing.
Okay.
I suspect Gary's head injury is affecting his behavior. What concerns me at the moment is that he seems to think he's going to be functioning as a member of the treatment team as opposed to being a patient. Hopefully that will resolve when more patients arrive.
What? He says, well, I'm not the addicted person, so like the rules weren't applying.
Right.
So why is he there?
Yeah. So here's the thing. Gary was correct. He wasn't really there as a patient, or so he was told. So according to TV Guide, even a VH1 press release, this was all stated in his contract, that he wasn't there as a patient.
Okay. Why would he think he's cast?
I'm going to answer your question in just a minute. Apparently, no one bothers to tell Dr. Drew this information, that Gary's not really here as I don't know that he wasn't there as a patient. He wasn't there for any addiction issues.
Right.
And Gary's understanding was, I'm here to help. Right? That's like what you get from it, right? And Dr. Drew later says, quote, I was confused too, but that's not my problem. My problem is that I've got a guy who needs help and I've got to figure out a way to get him into treatment. Okay.
What?
Here's the thing. But this was Celebrity Rehab. This was a rehabilitation thing. This power dynamic continues throughout the show where anytime like Dr. Drew at one point announces the treatment team. Well, he doesn't mention Gary, and Gary stands up and introduces himself and tells everyone how he had been addicted to cocaine and all this stuff. I guess Dr. Drew finally figures out Gary doesn't have a substance abuse issue, but was like, okay, I'll keep him here as a patient, which was so weird. Like he realized he doesn't know that Gary's supposed to be there to. I don't understand it to this day.
This makes no sense.
No, and especially like it was literally in Gary's contract to say basically he's not here as a resident, he's there to help. So that's what he goes in there, and Dr. Drew's like, you may not use the phone.
Yeah, I know.
Tell us when you have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, Busey's like, I had my training for months in the hospital.
Yeah.
Arranging sock drawers. Like,
I'm actually a doctor.
ready to help. Yeah. Did he think he was like a motivational, like,
I think he always
speaker?
thinks that. Yeah, that's kind of what I got out of it. But like, even
Yeah.
when Drew realizes this, he's like, I got to figure out a way to keep this guy here. So he explains.
This is so bizarre.
Right? But like, why are you doing this? He explains that Gary's behavior is different than the other patients, and basically said that, the outbursts he was having and the lack of impulse control was due to this 30-year-old brain injury, which,
Trauma.
I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But like,
Sure.
what is he doing there?
But is this the right venue for that? Like now, here on TV?
No.
Like, so bizarre.
So while Drew tries to make him a patient, Gary bucks it every step of the way. And
Yeah.
one of my favorite moments is Gary helping another patient, this lady by the name of Amber Smith. And he goes up to her and says, sober, son of a bee, everything real.
That's good, actually. That's really good.
Well, Amber did not care for Gary's Busey-ism, and she said she was there to get help, but not from someone crazier than her. which
that's
that is
fair.
funny.
That's fair.
So not long after his time on Celebrity Rehab, Gary goes on to season 11 of Celebrity Apprentice in 2011.
Oh my.
I'm telling you, he was on all of them. So this season has a ton of celebrities, including Marley Matlin, Meatloaf, Lil Jon, my boy Mark McGrath, as well as 2 housewives. Rebecca, would you like to guess which 2 housewives? And one of them, by the way, was not a housewife at the time they were on.
Bethany Frankel. No, she was later.
She was actually on the first Celebrity Apprentice, I
was
think,
she
with Martha Stewart. I think that's like where her whole... I could be wrong. Correction corner next week if we're wrong.
No, you're probably right.
One was a housewife when she came on. The other one was was famous, but not yet a housewife.
I don't know. I won't be able to remember.
Nene Leakes is the housewife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lisa Rinna.
Oh, I did know that. I remember that.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? So
that is, and also she and Gary Busey belong in the same like era to me. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 90s, like TV and movies.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Okay.
Rebecca, I'm sending you a clip, and this is of Lisa and Gary in a car with Trace Adkins, I believe, discussing Lisa farting, aka Fartgate, which was actually a thing that happened. Whether or not Lisa farted, that was like the big thing. So Gary goes on to call Lisa, you ready for this? A symphony of farting trombones. And his Busey-ism, because of course he had one, for her farts were F-A-R-T. Ready? Feeling a rectal transmission.
No.
Play the clip.
But also, even what he called her farts was a Busey. It was soft.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He is unbelievable.
Honestly,
Okay,
Rebecca, I
can
bet you
watch
were
it?
right with that. I bet that's what it was, and it just wasn't marked as a Busey-ism, like in pop culture. They didn't even catch it.
This is a lot.
Oh, come on, stop. Honey, smell it?
This is what it sounds when it's a vegetarian farts. Not even subtle. That's what's so fun. You know, if I had a spray from the detective agency, I could spray the air around you and it'd be bright blue, yellow, and the fuchsia.
so not true.
It is. I can see fart gas. A lot of people can't, but I can.
Whoa!
There went another one. Her farts rumble the whole seat.
That makes me so uncomfortable. Like, I hate that scene.
Yeah. Trace Adkins, you can see him, the other guy that's in there, looks like he's ready to jump out.
He was not there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was me watching.
Yeah. Lisa Rinna laughed the entire time, but probably out of just being uncomfortable because it was very weird.
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. And while that scene had Lisa Rinna, of all people, seemingly getting along with Gary, it was not the case for the rest of the cast. Not only was Gary saying really inappropriate things, like, do you remember the idea with Celebrity Apprentice? They would like get something like Australian Gold suntan, and they would be like, we want you to make a commercial for it, and whoever's commercial was best, right? So using the Australian Gold sunscreen example, he is, talking to the reps and stuff, and one of the reps says, it's a smell that teenage boys love. To which Gary replies, it gives you a sexual feeling, which is obviously not what they're trying to go for with this, right?
Of course.
Lots of stuff like that. So Meatloaf, R.I.P., was convinced that for one of these things that Gary had stolen these supplies that they got for an art project. So he was like, he went off on Gary, just screaming F-bombs, everything, yelling and cursing, and somebody takes Gary away, somebody takes Meatloaf away. Turns out these supplies were in the corner. Gary didn't steal them. Meatloaf apologizes. But everyone's tempers with him were...
It seems like something he would have done. So
for sure. And we don't know that he didn't put them in the corner. We just don't know. What is CORNER? No telling. He probably had a thing for that. So finally, Gary gets eliminated, which, spoiler alert, he didn't win. Lil Jon said that Busey, quote, had been orbiting in space for the past few days and that he really wasn't on Earth with the rest of them. Mm-hmm. And to that I say, a few days or years? So here's where it takes a turn, though. So this wasn't the only thing he's alleged to have done on The Apprentice. And quick trigger warning, we're talking about sexual abuse. I'll make it go very quickly.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So Gary allegedly is outside with one of the staffers. I guess some people were smoking, and he takes his hand and puts it firmly between this lady's legs. Also forcibly takes her hand, puts it on his crotch, and
oh no.
Yeah. And so this poor lady is like mortified, of course.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
tries to like laugh it off. This is before Me Too and all that stuff. And she said, "Oh, I've never been sexually harassed by a celebrity before."
Oh.
And he said, "I'm just getting started, baby," and takes her hand and puts it on his stuff. Yes.
My gosh.
I told you, it's terrible. And so
Where's his Buseyism for that?
sexual assault essay,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Exactly.
We'll come up with one.
Oh,
So a friend of this, staffer,
awful.
I know, sees what's happening, gets between her and Gary. And this poor woman doesn't really want to keep pushing it because she's like, I want to be able to keep my job. I want to be able to be hireable. And if I'm a terrible, that she felt that way. So the incident goes to higher ups at Celebrity Apprentice, who seems to laugh this whole thing off and gives him really a slap on the wrist. But of course, he wasn't even let go. He gets fired later down the road.
Oh my gosh.
And Rebecca, while I could do an entire anthology of all the other things Gary was on, let me just list a few, okay?
Okay.
Celebrity wife swap in 2012 with his wife and Pastor Ted Haggard. Do you know Ted Haggard? Do you remember him? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
In 2014, he was the first American to win Celebrity Big Brother UK. 2015, he's on Dancing with the Stars, where...
What? Can he dance?
No. Where he appears confused that he doesn't win, and he says, quote, "The fact that I've been eliminated is false," but he wasn't back on. Like, that was it. That was all they gave him. And Rebecca, in 2020, Gary continues his career in reality TV with the Tubi original show, Gary Busey Pet Judge. And rather than tell you about this, I'll just let you watch.
Too often in this world, animal crimes fall through the cracks. Luckily for all of us, there's a man astride a white horse of scorching hot pet law. The crimes are real. The justice is realer. It's Gary Busey, Pet Judge.
Pet justice.
All rise. The Honorable Judge Gary Busey presiding.
That feels good, doesn't it? At least to me it does. You may be seated.
Oh my gosh. I'm scared because I think when he puts on a white coat or a black robe that he really thinks he might be a judge.
It doesn't help that everyone there is acting like he is.
Well, and calling him one. Yeah. And all rising.
I know.
Like, this is bad.
Is that legal to say that?
Yeah. This is so curious. So, okay, we'll talk about it at the end.
Okay.
I just have so many things.
And back to the crime of it all. While we did discuss a bit of crime as it pertained to Celebrity Apprentice, obviously a big crime, but we just talked a little bit. That isn't all Mr. Gary Busey has been in trouble with. Back in 2001, he's arrested and booked for investigation of spousal abuse after an ex-wife calls the police. He's arrested, but he bonds out on $50,000 bond later. The case is eventually dismissed. They said the wife had bruises, but they didn't think they were actually caused by him. So take for that what you will. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In 2012, Gary filed for bankruptcy. He has about $50,000 in savings and was in $1 million in debt. He's said to owe money to a few people. Ready? The IRS, various attorneys, UCLA Medical Center, Wells Fargo,
Medical school debt.
Yep. LA County Waterworks, and much like our girl Tori, a storage company.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I want to go to LA, go to storage units and bid on them. Full storage wars.
Let's do it.
I mean, why not?
I
What do
mean,
we have to
something
lose?
about her is opening in a few weeks. We can get a sandwich on the
Gosh.
way.
Yeah, there you
Don't
go.
threaten me with a good time.
Exactly.
Okay, so this actually answers my question is like, why all the reality TV? But I guess he was kind of hard up for money.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's zany, and he just likes being zany on TV.
He likes the attention. He's there to help, Rebecca.
Well, that
He's
too.
there to help you.
Of course.
So in 2015, Gary hits a pedestrian with his car in a parking lot in Malibu. The person's okay. He's not cited.
God.
There was no evidence of alcohol or drugs. This one gets dark again.
Okay.
And then we'll go to less dark. In 2022, so just 2 years ago, when Gary was 78, he's arrested and charged with 2 counts of 4th-degree criminal sexual contact.
Jeez. Oh my gosh.
1 count of attempted criminal sexual contact and 1 count of harassment. So apparently there's an annual Monster Mania convention. I feel like I've heard of that, but I don't know what it is.
Is it like monster trucks? No.
That's the thing. I don't know.
Okay.
That's where I'm missing it. But he's like a featured guest there for all 3 days, supposed to be. So the women who called police said they received this unwanted contact with Gary trying to unlatch this lady's bra, puts his face near her breast. Apparently, they're posing for pictures during this. Like, that's when he's doing this. So originally he claims like, I didn't do this. He's scheduled to appear in court, but the hearing is canceled. And as I said, he said this didn't happen, but then he happens to ask a detective after all this to apologize to these women on his behalf. While this is going on, he speaks to a detective and asks them to apologize to these women on his behalf, and also please don't press charges. Please don't do that. Can you imagine asking an wild,
like like a kid in 5th grade being like, Melissa wants to know if you want to go out with her.
Yeah.
Gary Busey would like to say sorry. And would you please not press charges?
He apparently tells detectives it's possible to accidentally touch someone. That's like where he landed on his guilt, that accidentally. Later in 2022, Gary is seen with his pants down in public. His rep says he needed to go to the bathroom, and you can tell this because he was sitting, which was even more disturbing.
No. Gary.
But I guess the bathroom thing makes sense because in 2024, January, just a few months ago, right in front of the paparazzi, he pulls down his pants and pees in front of them.
I actually remember that.
Really?
Yeah, that picture went around and around.
Oh, gosh. The last video I'm going to show you is one with a more recent event. This takes place again in Malibu in 2023, where Gary apparently hits a woman's car with his, and she takes video following him down the road yelling. And,
wow.
I'll just let you watch it.
Okay.
Sir, you hit my car. I need your information. Sir! You hit my car! I want the number. I want the information. No. Sir, you hit my car.
I'm private.
It doesn't matter. You hit me. You hit my car. No, you rear-ended me. You can't hit someone and then leave. Yo, that's not okay. You hit my car. Sir, you don't get to just leave hitting someone.
Oh my gosh. Perhaps most surprisingly, he drives a Volvo, first of all. Doesn't drive like a Volvo driver, though. Where to begin? Where to end? Did she know it was Gary Busey?
I didn't think she did.
It didn't sound like it. But after the fact, is she like, oh my gosh, that was Gary Busey? Like,
maybe she was like, I guess that guy's not going to give me my, information. I love that she yells at him, I need your information. And he's like, I'm a private person.
I'm private. And then he's just like Progressive, like the name of the company. Like, look it up. That doesn't help us, sir.
No.
That was amazing.
The drive off with Wouldn't It Be Nice coming on.
The Beach Boys.
It was just like,
it's
you could
cinematic.
not make that up.
No, it's a piece of cinema.
That's cinema. Yes, I agree with you.
That was beautiful. And I hope she got compensated for the repair, but I hope that she captured that, gave her enough joy to like carry on and feel good about things.
Yeah, that would get me through the rest of my life. Yeah. So, Rebecca, in closing, I just have one thing to say to you regarding Mr. Gary Busey.
Okay.
Busey, Busey, bewilderingly unpredictable, somehow enraging you.
Perfect. No notes.
No notes.
That was fun.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, never in a million years would I think we would ever have done an episode on Gary Busey.
I don't know how it happened either. Just
It's great.
I realized
No,
I knew he would have to have a crime with it.
Yeah, you're like, he's on reality TV. Let's just find the crime. And there you
Mm-hmm.
go. He did not disappoint. He sounds like a dude who needs to like not drive and not be around women.
Yeah, I think both of those would be good.
Yeah, just ankle bracelet. Stay home.
Yeah.
Wow. That was so... That
It's
was
wild,
like a zany
right?
story, and he is like a zany person. He's also like a little dangerous. He's also
Obviously.
dangerous, not a little.
Yeah.
But he's also like kooky. Like he's just a weird dude.
He's so, and I think he was weird before.
I do
this
too.
Motorcycle thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I think that like exasperated it. And
Yeah.
I
I
don't know.
agree.
Once they let you become a doctor, on the
The
floor,
rules,
like,
then you just know, the rules don't apply and all bets are off. In the biopic of his life, Jim Carrey will play him, right?
or his son. Like you'll have to look up
Oh,
Jake
yeah, I'll
Busey.
look up-
He looks exactly
Yeah.
like him.
Okay. I would like to see Jim Carrey do him. I feel like he has. That was really fun.
I'm so glad we're back in the douche phase, but
I did look him up
for different reasons.
He's spitting
Mouth,
image.
everything.
He also looks like, speaking of Love is Blind, he looks like that Shane guy.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the Shane guy looks like Gary Busey, so it all.
Yeah. And I know, yes, people
Full
said that,
circle.
right?
Yeah.
That's really funny. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Well done.
Oh, well, thank you. And thank you to Elizabeth so much for helping me with research because
Love
I
you,
definitely
Elizabeth.
could not have put this kind of story together. I had left stuff out. There was just so
Wow.
much.
That's really fun.
Well, Rebecca, I'm done talking, but I want to know what it is that you've been watching this week. We know a lot of the things that we've both been watching.
I've kept this from you and I have been shocked that you haven't brought it up. I'm positive you've watched it.
Okay, well, that makes me think it's going to be the same thing I'm watching that I didn't write down, but it's different.
Oh, I love
So
when we
what's-
do the same show. It's only happened, once or twice?
Yes, question. Let's, on the count of 3, say what channel, what streamer it is, and then we'll know if it's true. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hulu.
Max.
Whoa, now I'm so curious because I definitely thought
was
you've
so
watched this. And that, I was too. And when I saw your mouth go pursed, I'm like, nope, it's not Hulu. There's no O.
Nope. Okay, Hulu, what are your other clues?
Well, I couldn't think of anything good because there's literally like no layer or plot or there's nothing to work with. So
Okay.
Hulu, pink, purple, darling.
Are you watching that? Vanderpump Valley or Vanderpump
Villa
Villa? Okay. Rebecca.
is real bad.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it bad like the Valley?
No.
It's good?
The Valley's
just bad.
amazing. The Valley
Right, that's what I mean. Like,
is
so bad it's good.
I won't even say the Valley's so bad it's good. I think the Valley's strong. I mean it's bad, but this is Southern hospitality with less plot.
Ooh.
This
I never even
is-
made it to Southern Hospitality.
Yeah, I've watched a few one-offs like when I hear about big fights and I can't get into it. Like Leva's not invested in it. So it's hard for me
Right,
to be
right.
when Leva looks like she doesn't want to be there.
Yeah,
Makes it
yeah.
hard for me to watch. This new okay, so we're talking about Vanderpump Villa, which is on Hulu, which is the first hint that like something's wrong, right? Like why did Bravo
Right.
not take this show? So
Or
there's
Peacock.
or Peacock, right? This is a Peacock show, but they didn't want it, I guess. So Lisa Vanderpump's newest, endeavor is this villa in the countryside of France, stunning
Okay.
as you would expect,
Right.
beautiful. It's below deck in a villa, or you could say Vanderpump Rules in a villa, but it's about the people who work there, and she hires servers, like maids, bartenders. They
Oh,
wear
okay.
like country maid girl outfits, but like prettier, but like
Okay.
pretty cute. Like
So not like the old Sir dresses that are
No, they're
black
much
with purple
nicer.
splashed
At some-
everywhere?
I think in time they will feel like that. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? They're of a very
Yeah.
certain era. Like they look culty, but they're sexy. Like they're I don't know how to describe it, but they're
Oh,
all
it's like
pink
those
and purple.
Target dresses. That one
Yeah.
year that had all those Target dresses,
Yeah,
and I was like,
which-
I can't do it.
I have a couple, not from Target, but that style. But these are like off the shoulder, short, Anyway, they're all pink and purple. All I can say is pink and purple. That's literally the takeaway of the show is everything is pink and purple. But every episode, a new person comes it's just like Below Deck, a divorce party.
Okay.
A new identity party, like a gender, transition, or a recovery from an accident and didn't think they'd live, bring all their best friends.
Busey?
And then, yeah, I know, Busey, is it you? And then Lisa curates an experience for them based on this. And then the drama is all the servers, the staff between each other. And just none of them can quite pull that off. Here's the thing. The chef is so handsome.
Really?
Yeah, Anthony. So that's fun, but also his food is beautiful. It's also filmed beautifully. So I like when you look at Below Deck food now and you go back, you're like, ooh, it doesn't even look good. This stuff looks like a magazine. It's so gorgeous. And he has a sous chef and she's stunning. And the food is like incredible. And the people always love the food. There's like two main characters is a couple that used to be a couple, but they're like an on again, off again couple. And they're carrying the whole
Sassy
show.
Jax.
Yes. And they are the new, it's Marciano and Hannah. Is her name Hannah? She doesn't look like a Hannah. It's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's nothing else to say. It's a good background show. It fills the nights where there's no Bravo, like Wednesday night. Well, it's like Top Chef. I don't really watch that. So I catch up on it then because it comes out on Mondays, which I know, which is embarrassing. I don't know. It feels like Lisa's reaching and just like needs to not. It's cringy.
Yeah, I did not. Well, Ben Mandelker from Watch What Crappens has tweeted multiple times how much he basically hates that show.
Oh, really?
And he doesn't seem to be able to like get past how much he doesn't like it. So I'm like, I don't really even feel like
I was wondering if you would. I'm surprised you haven't watched it.
No, I kind of sometimes with those new shows, I like to give it a week or two to see like what the internet says. I don't know. Like,
It's
here's
pointless.
what happens. We get into like seasons where there's like 4 or 5 housewives going on or Vanderpump and Summer. I cannot keep up. I will keep up, but I should not be trying to keep up.
Yeah.
So I'm releasing myself from this one. You did not seem to care for it enough for me to try it.
No, I mean, trying to think if there was like one interesting thing, but not really.
There's not.
There's not. It's really, it's very manipulated. It feels very staged and very structured. And these kids aren't good at like making it seem organic.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't translate as like authentic, pure mayhem. It's not even like that fun. So you can skip it.
Be a mess.
Yeah, but it is so pretty. It's like, when you're at like Villa Rosa at her house, like it's just like that, but in France. So it's just it's so beautiful. But again, total background show, not necessary. And there's a lot of new housewives coming back, so we won't need it. I needed it as like a little in between.
I get it.
So what were you going to say that you thought I was going to say? Or was that not the thing you were going to share?
It wasn't going to, but then I changed it because I forgot I had watched this.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so first clue is Max.
Right.
Next is second. And the third is burping.
Burbank?
Burping, like burp.
Oh, burping. Second, burping Max. I have no idea.
The Jinx Part 2.
Oh my... How did I not get that? Because I watched it. And I can't believe I didn't use that as my thing. I
know, that's where I was totally surprised. There's 2 now.
When did the second come out?
Sunday. Yeah.
I'm so annoyed with myself for not getting the burping and the second. Like, duh.
Well, the second wasn't a great clue, but the burping
No, it's the second season.
Was.
No, that was a great, I mean, where else would burping come from? Like,
I know. It was.
I love the Jinx so much. Okay, so go ahead.
No, I mean, if you watch the first season of the Jinx, which was amazing, and so much happened in real time, like Fred Durst, Robert Durst, trying to escape, his arrest, all of that stuff. And so what we're watching now is like the crazy thing. I just never expected to see like the viewing party of the finale.
That was so powerful. That was so powerful. Yeah.
So it's like all of, his first wife's family is there, like her brother and stuff, and, different reporters and stuff. They're all learning this. They're all seeing him do the burping and
yes.
Yeah.
For the first time. So it's so cool because it's almost like you got to experience it again yourself because it's so hard to believe is happening. I think Susan Berman's surviving friends and family
Yes.
might have been there too. They were like all victim friends and family. Also, didn't it make you love the director so much?
Oh, so much. I think he's great.
He's so good. I mean, the first one did too, just because it's amazing, but just how he like immediately goes to the police, works with the victims' families. Like, I don't know. I just think he's just top notch.
The way he catches Durst with the Beverly Hills, where he's like, well, one is like this, one's like this. And then he shows them both and says, which one is yours? And you can't tell. They're both his. Like, there's no way you could differentiate the two. Incredible. And so like we're learning about like the behind the scenes and, you know, how this all came to be and like all the people who were still connected to him after his arrest. And
I can't wait to watch the second episode.
Yeah, he's got like women in different it's weird. I don't know. Money does a lot to people, for sure.
Oh, for sure. I have so much to say about the Dursts. I'm like still annoyed I didn't get it, but I'm so happy there's a second season and that I think I'm going to probably watch the second episode tonight.
Do it.
It's so good, but that whole family is pretty out there.
Yeah, for sure. I forgot though. I almost, it makes me want to go back and watch the first one. Yeah, because that was just, it's like a moment in time. It really is. It's like the updated OJ chase, you know, like where were you when you heard
absolutely
Robert Durst burping in the bathroom
and saying I killed them all. It's the creepiest thing ever. There's a person featured in the first episode of season 2, the judge from his Galveston trial, the footage. I met her at CrimeCon. We ended up sitting at a table together, and I ended up having her on dialogue because she was the only judge I've ever interviewed. Like, I couldn't believe it when I met her. She's like, oh, I'm a judge in Galveston. I'm like, oh, I can't hear Galveston without thinking of Robert Durst. She's like, I presided over his first murder trial. And I was like, stop it. Is it Christmas? Can you please be on my podcast? She's amazing.
Seriously.
Her name is Susan Chris.
Awesome.
So she's in it. And that's when the jury got wrong.
And we meet one of the jurors that becomes his friend and like wild.
So good. Okay, well,
now I'd love to know what the next episode is going to be about.
I think these are the most solid clues.
Okay.
And they're a little straightforward and maybe too on the nose, but I think that's okay sometimes because yours last week were really hard and obscure. So this week, I think people will dial in.
It's called Balance.
Yes, it's called Balance. Dating, net worth, Bravo.
Okay, I think I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you think?
Super excited because I really have that's like a one-off thing for me. I've seen very little of what I think this is. So I'm excited because I have no idea the background. Yay.
Great. I only know a little too. So in 2 weeks, I'll be back with a lot more information.
Awesome.
But that was a great one, Melissa. Thanks.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for sticking through it.
Of course.
And thank you again, Elizabeth. And if you want to check out Criminality on the interwebs, you can find us at Instagram. It's just Instagram now, I think.
Yeah. Follow us at Criminality Show. And if you enjoy the podcast, please feel free to leave 5 stars and a written review and tell your friends about it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, somebody left a 5-star review and it said something about the sound, like the ads being louder than the other stuff. So I've figured out how to fix that. I don't know that I'm going to fix all the old ones because that's like a process. But going forward, they'll all be equalized. And so, yes, we've got it. So thank you. That was very helpful. And they still gave us a 5-star review, and I appreciated that. It was a nice comment and a note.
Constructive feedback with a 5-star. We'll take it. I give that review a 5 stars. Thank you. Thank you.
There you go.
Because we want to be better. We don't want to blow your eardrums out.
For sure. Yeah, of course.
Especially when I'm screaming about how much I love factory meals, which I do.
They're awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see everybody in a couple weeks.
Bye.
Bye.